Welcome to Stitching with Cindy Boss. Today I have for you this super huge tote bag, and we're going to talk about how to make one, why I chose to make it this big, the type of fabric that I use, the pockets, all of that for this really gigantic tote bag. So let's get started. This I'm calling my winter emergency car bag. Now, I don't know about you, but here in Western New York, we're always hearing about people who are stranded on the thruway and they don't have any winter provisions with them. So this is my winter emergency car bag, and it is large enough that in the middle here you could put a blanket. I was traveling back and forth to work by myself, so I usually had my big bulky winter coat in the car. It's not what I usually wore to work. It would get really hot sitting in the car driving for an hour, but it's very important to have those supplies with you. So I would have an extra pair of boots, I would have mittens and things in the car, and I thought, you know what? This is a great idea to have a bag specifically designed for that, to put your blanket in, your bulky winter coat, your warm boots, not your fancy go to work boots, but the hiking because you got in a ditch boots. And there's room in here for socks, for a flashlight, for granola bars, for all that kind of stuff that you really should have with you, flashlights, and the list goes on. And I believe there's even a couple articles or more that I've seen or you can find on Google of the things that you should have with you in case you are stranded. Especially if you have little kids, it's very important to keep their hands and feet warm. So socks, mittens, those kind of things in a very hurried morning to get to school or wherever you're going can be left behind, and it's always good to have them with you. So again, this is my super huge car emergency bag. So let's talk about it. I chose to make my handles a little bit smaller. They're not quite as wide as normal. And I did choose to use a canvas and to have it lined. And I chose to make zippered and unzippered pockets. So to keep everything organized in the planning stages and how to make it, I've made this worksheet that we've talked about on other videos. If you haven't seen my other videos for design, for design and create bag series, check them out. They've got some good things in them. The earlier videos show more about the basic bag construction. Not really going to talk too much about that. I'll touch on it a little bit, but more in depth in those first videos. So if you would like a copy of this worksheet, I cannot figure out how to put a PDF file in the description. I know you can, and I Googled it and I watched how to put in links. So I was able to do that on one of my videos to link you to another video, but getting a PDF document to load up has been difficult. So if you wish to have this check sheet, I will email you one. Just email me a request for the check sheet. This is not necessarily a pattern. It is a worksheet that you fill out with your measurements. So go ahead and email me at the Stitcher's Choice Workspace at gmail.com, and I will send you this worksheet. And when you follow along in the videos, if you want to make a bag like the one I'm featuring, all you got to do is fill in the measurements and you will have a bag similar to mine. All right, so it's not necessarily a pattern, but I do have a space for you to write things down. I make comments on the side in mine where necessary. And remember, it's always good to write things down, because this favorite bag that you're making, you're going to want to make another for a friend or for yourself. And it's very important to remember how you did it. So the check sheet starts out with the project name and the date at the top, and I filled that out with the winter emergency car bag. The style is going to be just a traditional bag. I'm not doing quilting, as you go, no applique, nothing like that. It's just a regular traditional style bag. It is lined. It's just a traditional rectangle square. And what I'm doing as I go through is I'm just highlighting things so that I can organize my thoughts. The material is a canvas. I am going to line this canvas. It's a very lightweight canvas, and because I'm going to be putting boots and blankets and a coat, it's going to get heavy, and so I want that extra stability. I'm using two fabrics, this fancy print and these stripes as a coordinating fabric. The next thing, it says size. Well, this is an extra super large. So you can highlight the extra large. The measurements are going to be 24 wide by 20 inches deep and 10 inches for the side. Then it asks about the front and the back. The design is just a plain. The measurements, again, for the front and for the back panel is 24 by 20. Now, when I cut this 50 by 24 because I wanted the sides, the bottom, and the back to all be connected. And I'm just going to sew the side panels in. So it does say next the side measurements, which are 10 by 20, and the sewing directions, which are sewn on, and the pockets I'm going to put on the sides also. The bottom is 10 inches by 20. If you were going to cut that and put that on separately, again, I added it to my other measurements, so it's one big long rectangle. And the closures on my side pockets are going to be zips. The bottom, again, we talked about. If you wanted to reinforce the bottom, you could always add the secondary color there as a little extra reinforcement. And I would sew that right over the top of the color you have. And then we go to the pockets. Now this has 9+ pockets. They're different sizes. Some have zippers, some do not. Got a couple 10 by 10s. We got a 14 by 12, a 7 by 10, and a 10 by 5. The type of closure, again, is a zipper. The handles, I made a little bit narrower. I used a 3.5-inch strip, folded the sides in and to the middle. You fold those sides into the middle and you press. And then you fold the ends in again to where that press line is, like that. So you can take a 4-inch rectangle and turn it into 1-inch. I started with 3.5 today. I made them a little narrower. That's running out of fabric because it's such a big bag for what I had, and I'm using up what I have in stock in my stash. So then the lining is, again, another canvas. I'm using a medium weight batting, and everything for the lining and the interfacing is cut the same as the bag itself. So I don't need extra measurements. So this here is one large rectangle. So this is 24 inches wide, and it goes all the way to the bottom, one big panel, and around the back. One large panel, 24 by 50 is what I cut that for. Then my sides, I just took the panel of 10 inches by 20, and I sewed it down and across and up with the right sides together. Okay, so I just inserted that panel in. Now this panel, before I inserted it, I added the pockets. So these pockets are the edges, the raw edges of the pockets are encased in this side seam. And this is a 10-inch wide pocket. It goes down to here. This is the ending of the pocket, and a nice zipper here. So I actually come up with two pockets here. I have a zipper pocket that I can put things in, and I have a nice little just drop-in pocket. So that makes it nice for some choices of, if it's just a hat, you don't mind just stuffing it in there, but if it's something that you don't want falling out in the car, zipper it down in there. That's great. Now to make this zipper pocket, what I did was I took a rectangle piece of material and I sewed the zipper on. Oh, I lost my zipper. Excuse me. I just dropped it over here. So I took my zipper and with the tab side down, I sewed this stretch here, sewed across the top, and then I folded it back over, and then having that fold line there, I stitched that down. Okay, then I took that other raw edge of the rectangle, brought it up across the top of the tab side of the zipper, and I sewed that. And then in order to do the top stitching, I simply unzipped it, flipped it over, and did that top line edge. All right, so then you have a zipper that is sewn in like this. Let me just put a couple pins in here. And you've got your nice top stitching. What's nice to do that top stitching is then you hold the fabric away from the teeth of the zipper. Okay, so then here's my little piece of rectangle with its folded over, top stitched down edges. And what I then do is decide, where do I want the zipper? Do I want the zipper really close up high with just maybe an inch there, or do you want it down farther? Now when you move it down farther, remember when you open it, this space up here is kind of wasted space. You know, but if you want it for design down farther, that's fine. Then you could have this, if you move this zipper down to here, this could be a small pocket, but this part behind it, the drop-in, could be large. So that could be a reason to do it that way. So here's your pocket, and I would top stitch down this edge and then simply lay it on the panel and do a stay stitching, just inside of the seam allowance, just enough to sew it down and hold it. Okay, so again, you can have your zipper be up high on your pocket, or you can have it, you know, like in the middle or 3/4 of the way, and then your drop pocket behind it would actually be bigger than the storage area for the back. Drop-in would be larger than for the bottom. Just however you wish to do it. That is how I did the pockets for this project, and their raw edges are just right in those seams. So those were the side pockets. Now when I open it up, you see that I have some side pockets here. Okay, now I did the same type of technique here. Okay, this time though, instead of everything having the zipper or whatever, I just took my piece of material, okay, folded over the material, did its top stitching to hold the two layers together. Then you simply lay this on your side panel, you stitch it down, and then this is a folded over edge. You lay that back and grab those raw edges in the side seam, just stay stitch it just a little bit less than your seam allowance, so that when you go to do your actual side seams, they'll all be encased. Go around the bottom to make sure it's nice and snug and firm and secure, and then up the side with the stay stitching, and that's how you get this nice pocket. And I decided to put a seam down the middle so that they were two littler pockets instead of one baggie. And I did that on both sides. In the side seam, the side part of the bag, not the side seam, sorry, misspoke. But then on this one, I decided I wanted a little bit of a secure pocket. So I did the same thing with the zipper pocket, but lower. So I'm going to turn this inside out a second. So this is the side inside of my bag. And I have the two small ones, and then I have this zipper one down here. Now that's really not going to be a convenient place to store things because it's so far down in the bag when you have other things in it. But the reason I did that was I was thinking, what if I wanted to carry some cash? I think it's important when you're you get stuck somewhere, if you have to hike to a McDonald's or you have to walk to a gas station to get help, or you know, they had stories on the news of people walking from the thruway to the gas station and stuff just to find someplace warm to be. Be nice to have a little stash of cash on you know, a few bucks in there, but I wanted it somewhere where it wasn't going to fall out and it wasn't really seen by, you know, well, not in my case, but maybe in your case where the kids are rummaging through things and getting an extra pair of gloves or whatever else. Hey, Mom, there's money in here, you know, that type of thing. So I put it down there, out of sight, out of mind. And then hopefully I wouldn't use it for, you know, a Dunkin' or a Timmy Ho run instead of leaving it there for the emergency. All right, then the other thing I did was I made this larger pocket. Again, maybe I should just turn it inside out completely so that we can get a better look here. All right, so here's our insides. And I made this nice deep pocket. And again, I did it the same way as I did the sides, with the one exception of when I had it like this, I put it inside out. So I put the right sides together so the inside was out. Made sure that my zipper pull was in the middle here, and then I sewed the side seams. You sew the side seams, and then making sure again that your zipper pull was in the middle gives you the pull out hole. So that allows me to pull it back right sides out. And again, you lay down the bag where you want it and just sew the seams down, and you have your pocket attached. So again, it's just the same as we did the other way, the other side pockets, but instead of the raw edges being cased in the side seam, you do the side seams now, pull it out through the zipper, and then just press it and put it down. All right, then here is another pocket. This time we did the just the method where you put the two right sides together, sew the three sides, turn it right side out, top stitch along the top, okay, and then you just lay this where you want it, sew the bottom seam, flip it up again, and sew around like we talked about before. All right, so that's how this bag was mainly constructed. I'm putting that side panel on, going down and across, down and up the sides, and then putting the bag itself right sides together, leaving an opening in your side here. You can see where mine was, and that's where you turn it through and go ahead and just close that up. I did not have a bottom place to do it, and I like to do mine on the sides for strength and durability. And then you just pull it right sides out again. Now, where you decide to put your handles is up to you. I sewed my handles on before I put the lining in, and I just sewed them down a little bit, and then made sure that they were out of the way when I did the linings right side together with the outside, and then I top stitch along, making sure that the handle's out of the way. But again, in one of the other videos, we talked about how you could put your handles down on the side, sew it, and flip it, and sew it again to encase your raw seams. But this time I chose in my planning to have mine come out of this top seam. So you just put those on there before you attach the lining. And there you have it, the gigantic emergency car bag. And I think this will be wonderful. Lots of room to store things. And again, you know, those stories you hear on the news are pretty sad. People, you know, saying their toes and feet were freezing. They got stranded on the internet, or you hear stories of people, I got, you know, went in the ditch. I didn't have a flashlight with me. I didn't have boots. I didn't have anything with me. Really a good idea to get yourself prepared for the winter storms and the icy roads. And especially if you have kids, make sure you have those mittens and gloves, those extra things. It doesn't take that much to throw an extra blanket in the car. If you're in the ditch and there's nowhere to walk to, and you're waiting for that tow truck to come, you know, having that blanket or two and the mitts will really, you'll really be thankful for it. So please like and subscribe. Check out the Facebook group, Quilting and Sewing at the Stitcher's Choice Workspace. Facebook group, wow, that's a lot to say. The Facebook group, Quilting and Sewing at the Stitcher's Choice Workspace. And, you know, check out some other videos. If you want to contact me, it's Cindy, it's the Stitcher's Choice Workspace at gmail.com. Again, I am Cindy, and there was something else. Oh, I have Instagram. I'm trying to do stuff there. If you live in the Warsaw area, I'm offering some free Sew With Me get-together sessions. Check that out on the Facebook group. I'm going to be posting different things. And, you know, if you want a calendar of what's coming up, you email me and I will send you off the calendar. It is really hard to post the calendar in the Facebook group, but I will email you that. Again, a lot of fun stuff going on. I hope you can check it out. Look forward to meeting some of you. Love to meet all of you, but I know some of you are from far, far away. Warsaw, New York's not where you are. All right, I guess I'm starting just to rattle away. You have a great night, and I'll see you soon. Bye.